Hello, hello, my dear students. Uh, we have already discussed the two units of the paper. It's called the aquaculture. Okay, and the third unit. It is will start today. We are going to start the third unit of this paper called aquaculture. Okay, so as far as the uh, unit third is concerned, we have already discussed the two units, and the third unit in this paper, these are some contents which we will discussed. Okay, so first part that will be discussed in today, that is the characteristics of water. We know the water is play a crucial role in aquaculture, so we have to study, or we have to study these water characteristics, that is the physical, chemical and biological. Okay, then the second point in this unit that we are going to discuss, that the larvivorous fishes. Not about the till we have discussed the number of culture methods, or the integrated fish farming, or the number of fishes we have cultured, and that are useful for what we can say for the diet purpose. But here in this particular unit, or the point, that is the larvivorous fishes, we have discussed here. We will discuss here, that is the number of fishes. They are very important as far as the health is concerned also. So in the particular larvivorous fishes point, we will discuss the characteristics of larvicidal fishes, then the larvicidal fishes in India, in then exotic species and indigenous species. In our India, a number of larvivorous fishes we have cultured, and in that particular the exotic species are also introduced in our India. So that species is also discussed in the larvicidal fishes in India under the heading. Okay, and then the last part of the second point is the role of larvivorous fishes in relation to public health. Just we have I have told you that the no doubt we have discussed the number of fishes as far as the diet is concerned, or the when they utilize in the diet. But these fishes, they are not utilized for diet, but they are useful as far as the human health is concerned. Okay, so and the next and the last part of this unit is the aquatic weeds and their control. We have already discussed the aquatic weeds, okay, in the pisciculture paper, but here the aquatic weeds and their control, so it is a separate separate point we have to discuss here. So in that particular, we have to discuss the types of weeds, and type of weed is there, then advantages and disadvantages of weeds, means their presence is good or bad, or it is advantages or disadvantages to the fishes which are present in the water. Okay, then the last is the weed control, in which method we have to control the weeds. That should be that will discussed in our coming lecture. In the it should be manually, or it can be mechanically, chemically and the biologically we can control the weeds. So in this content, we can say the 3 points we will discuss in the unit number 3. Okay, now the first part of this unit is the characteristics of water. We know the I just explained the content, that the physical, chemical and biological properties of water. So these are the 3 properties here: physical, chemical and biological properties of water we have to discuss. And we know the why our earth is called water planet, because water covers 71% of total surface of the earth, and therefore earth is sometimes called as what? Water planet. Okay, and in nature water occurs on land, it also present below, that is in the form of groundwater, its surface, on atmosphere, and in the biomass of total volume of water available. Okay, 97% is on the vast oceans, means here the 97% of water present on this earth is near about 97%, that is present in the form of ocean. Then the 2% water is stored in the form of ice sheet, and only less than 1% is available as fresh water. So here in a very we can say the number only 1% is present in the form of fresh water, okay, and 2% is in the form of ice sheet, and in about 97% of water is present, or we can say the available in the vast oceans, okay. So we know the all life is depending on water. Without water we can't survive, and it comprises over 90% of the chemical content of many organisms, and it participates either directly or indirectly in all metabolic reactions. What are the means their role is very significant or very important as far as the life is concerned. So we should we can study, or we should study the characteristics of water is also important in the aquaculture, okay. So we'll first discuss the properties, or that is the physical properties of water. So in this I have just taken four physical properties here. It includes the temperature, then the color, then transparency, and the turbidity, etc. Okay, so the first parameter or the property is the temperature. So the parameter of temperature is basically important for its effect on the chemistry and biological reaction in the organisms in water. We know the importance of temperature. So a rise in temperature of water leads to speeding up of the chemical reaction. When the chemical react, or we can say the temperatures rise, it increases, so it leads to the speeding of the chemical reactions in the water. And in water the temperature ranges 7 degrees Celsius to 11 degrees Celsius has a pleasant taste, and it's a refreshing one. Means okay. Now at higher temperature with less dissolved gases, the water becomes tasteless and even does not quench the thirst. We know the if we take hot water, then it's not means we can say that it is not it does not quench the thirst, okay, and it becomes what, tasteless. There is no taste if the water is or the temperature of the water is high, okay. So at elevated temperature the metabolic activity of the organisms increases, requiring more oxygen, but at the same time the solubility of O3 decreases, okay. This is the temperature. It is very important, again property, physical property, okay. Then the color. We know the color of water, which say we have saw many times the blue color is appear, or very good blue color appears in water, okay. So the natural water's color is due to what? It is due to the presence of humic acids, fulvic acids, then metabolic ions, suspended matter, then the number of planktons present in the water. It also denotes the color. Then the weeds and industrial effluent. If any industrial effluent is added into the water, that can be give the color to the water also, okay. So it is removed. The color is removed to make water suitable for general and industrial applications, and is determined by visual comparison of the sample with distilled water. We just compared with this color of the water with the distilled water, okay. So when we observe any water body, by just observing, you just explain, or we can easily elaborate why this color is there, okay. Means if there is a very green or green color is observed in the water, so you can say that no number of plankton is more in the particular water, okay. So that property, that is the color. Then the next is the transparency. Transparency is nothing but the light penetration, means what depth the light is penetrated, that is called the transparency. So solar radiation is major source of light energy in an aquatic system, so governing the primary productivity. So the transparency is a characteristics of water that varies with combined effect of color and turbidity. So it measures the light penetrating through the water body, and it is determined using Sankey disk. So this light penetration, we can say this light penetration is determined by the very easy method, that is called a Sankey disk method. Just using one iron plate, round plate, you just mark, or we can say the just two color is there, black and white, and you just hold one with the help of one rod or any rope. You can just insert the Sankey disk into the water and observe the saccadic appearance, means what depth it get disappeared. Okay, and when it get disappeared, just measure the particular length of the from surface water to the point where the saccade is disappear. Okay, so this is the transparency, it also important physical property. Then the turbidity, so it is an expression of optical property wherein light is scattered by suspended particles that is present in water, that is called a Tyndall effect, and is measured using the nephelometer. See, the turbidity is measured by the using the nephelometer machine, or the, we can say, the equipment. By using this nephelometer, we can easily measure the turbidity of the water. Okay, now suspended and colloidal matter such as clay, silt, finely divided organic and inorganic matter. Then again the planktons and other microscopic organisms cause turbidity in water. These are the some factors which we can say the turbidity. Okay, it causes the turbidity in the water. Then it affects what means this turbidity affects light scattering, then the absorption of properties and aesthetic appearance in a water body. That increases in the intensity of a scattered light, results in higher values of turbidity. So turbidity due to the plankton is an indication of ponds high fertility, but that caused by silt or mud beyond a limit is harmful to fish and fish food organisms. Again, if the no doubt the if turbidity is happen due to the plankton, then it is very good indication towards the pond, because we can say that this pond is very good fertile. But if that causes by silt or the mud, it may harmful to fish and the other fish food organisms. Okay, then it restrict the penetration of sunlight and hence reduces the photosynthetic activity. Why this turbidity we have to measure? Because it's here, it restricts the penetration of sunlight. If the turbidity is more in water, at that time the sunlight is not penetrated to the bottom or the penetrated towards the green plants, and we know the photosynthetic activity is very important, and these green plants, they by using the sunlight, they prepare their own food. Okay, and it increases or it produces the that is called the oxygen. But if this turbidity is heavy, then the sunlight is not penetrated and it reduces what we can say the photosynthetic activity. Okay, and it turns related to the productivity of the water body. If these photosynthetic activities not we can say the if the photosynthetic activity is not good there in the pond, then the productivity of the water body is reduced. Means there the production of plankton is not there, and by this turbidity it restrict. Okay, so the suspended particles causing turbidity may also absorb considerable amount of nutrients like the phosphates, then the potassium and nitrogen in their ionic forms, making them unavailable for the plankton production. Okay, so these four points or these four properties we have discussed here: the temperature, then the color, then the transparency and the turbidity. Now we move towards the chemical parameters. As far as the water is there or water parameter is there, so these parameters they are varied, means their variation is continuous. Okay, means these parameters they are not constant, they are changes or they are changing ever, they are ever changing parameters. So first chemical parameter is the pH. So we know the pH, importance of pH in the aquaculture or any water body. So the effect of pH on chemical and biological properties of liquid makes its determination very important. Okay, so it is one of the most important parameter in water chemistry and is defined as negative log, that is and measured as intensity of acidity or alkalinity. We on a scale ranging from 0 to 14. We know the scale of the pH is 0 to 14, and if a free hydrogen are more in the expressed acidic, that is okay, pH, while more hydrogen ion is expressed in is alkaline, that is the more than 7 pH. Okay, means we just elaborate this pH scale, that is the 0.6 0 to 6.9 is we can say the the acidic range of the pH, whereas the 7 is neutral, and 7 to 7.1 to 14 the expressed as an alkaline or the basic nature of the water. So in natural water, pH is governed by the equilibrium between carbon dioxide, bicarbonate, carbonate ions, and ranges between 4.5 to 8.5, although mostly basic. You know, the which require means when we plan to culture a fishes in a pond, then we have to measure the pH of the water, and it should be between the 7.5 to 8.5. It's just it require alkaline pH. Okay, so it tends to increase during daylight due to this photosynthetic activity. No doubt this pH increases at the daytime because of this photosynthetic activity, because of consumption of carbon dioxide, and decreases during night due to the respiratory activity. Okay, so we know, just I have just explained that these parameters, they are ever changing ones, they are not constant one. Okay, now the next and very important parameter of the water is the dissolved oxygen. As far as we know, the water is very important for our survival purpose. Same here, this gas, that is the oxygen, or we can say the dissolved oxygen, is very important for the survival purpose over there. See, it is a vital gas. Oxygen is a vital gas, and it is useful for the respiration of aquatic organisms. So it dissolved in water is a very important parameter. This is the dissolved form, means the oxygen present in water is dissolved form. So dissolved oxygen in water is very important parameter in water, as it serves as an indicator of physical, chemical, and biological activities of the water body. So this parameter is very important because all these properties or activities of the water body, it indicate indications by this presence of this dissolved oxygen. Okay, so the two main sources of dissolved oxygen are diffusion of oxygen from air and photosynthetic activity. See here, we know the surrounding we have plenty of oxygen present, but in water, these water comes from two activity. One is from the diffusion, means whatever the oxygen present in the air, that get diffused into water, and the life present in the water, they get oxygen, okay, in the form of dissolve. Okay, and other we can say the source is the photosynthetic activity, means all the green plants present in the water body, they performing the photosynthetic activity, and they reduces oxygen in the water also. Okay, so diffusion of oxygen from air into water depends the solubility of oxygen, and is influenced by many other factors like water movement, temperature, salinity, etc. Then the photosynthesis is a biological phenomena carried out by heterotrophs, depends on the plankton population, light condition, gases, etc. So oxygen is considered to be the major limiting factor in water bodies with organic materials. So now these oxygen is very important as far as these other limiting factors in this water body. And for aquaculture practices, the oxygen level should be above 5 milligram per liter. So this is very important level, that is we should maintain the oxygen level in the water above the 5 milligram per liter. Okay, now the next is the carbon dioxide. Along with the dissolved oxygen, the carbon dioxide is also essential for photosynthesis, and the important source of free carbon dioxide in surface water bodies is mainly from respiration and decomposition by the aquatic organisms. Okay, so means one is the we can say the respiration, another is the decomposition by the aquatic organisms. That is the source of this carbon dioxide in the water, and it reacts with water partly to form calcium carbonate, and in the absence of bicarbonates, it gets converted to carbonates releasing the carbon dioxide. In this way, the carbon dioxide is mixes, or we can say the found in the water body. Now the chloride, the next parameter, the chemical parameter, is the chlorides. Again, it is major a form of inorganic ions in water for aquatic life. The presence of chloride in natural waters can mainly be attributed to dissolution of salt deposits in the form of ions. Otherwise, high concentration may indicate pollution by sewage, industrial waste, interaction of water or other saline water also. So along with all these three parameters, the chloride is also an important parameter for the aquatic life. Now the calcium hardness. The presence of calcium in water results from passes through over deposits of limestone, then the dolomite, gypsum, and such other calcium bearing rocks. So calcium contributes to the total hardness of water and is important micronutrients in the aquatic environment, and is especially needed in the large quantities by mollusks and the vertebrates. So this calcium hardness is very important parameter again in the water, and it required by the mollusk and the vertebrates in the water. Okay, now the magnesium hardness. Same here, the calcium hardness and the magnesium hardness. So magnesium is a relatively abundant element in the earth crust. It is present in the earth crust, ranking 8 in abundance among the elements, and it is found all natural waters, and its source lies in rocks. They generally present in the lower concentration than the calcium, means their presence is very low as compared to the calcium, and it is also an important element contributing to hardness and necessary constituent of chlorophyll. So for the chlorophyll, it very important constituent. Okay, and its concentration is greater than 125 milligram per liter, can be influenced catalytic and diuretic actions. So these are two actions that are influenced by this. If this concentration is more, okay, then the total hardness. So hardness is predominantly caused by divalent cations such as calcium, magnesium, alkaline earth metals such as iron, manganese, strontium, etc. The total hardness is defined as the sum of calcium and magnesium concentration, both they expressed as a CO3 in milligram per liter. This is the chemical properties. So these parameters, they are very important as far as the aquaculture is concerned, as far as the water body is concerned, because these parameters, if they are in a very means if they are present in a very desirable limit in the water body, then it can be good for all the life present in the, or all the life depending on the water. They are very important. So now the next parameter is the biological parameters. We have already discussed the physical properties of water. In that particular, we all know, we have discussed 4 parameters. Then the some chemical parameters we also discussed the pH, DO, then the carbon dioxide, then the chloride, then the calcium hardness, magnesium hardness. Okay, so now we'll move towards the biological parameters. These are some different aspects of the water body. So the physical and chemical characteristics of water affect the abundance, species composition, stability and productivity of the indigenous population of aquatic organisms. So biological means, see here, the biological method used for assessing water quality includes the collection, counting and identification of aquatic organisms. Means in what or we can say the number of pterocerans, number of rotifers, or number of other phytoplankton, zooplankton. These numbers we can say, we can identify them by collecting the sample, and by counting in the lab we can count them by using the Chebyshev scale. Okay, then the biomass measurement, then measurements of metabolic activity rates, toxicity test, bioaccumulation, then biomagnifications of pollutants, and processing and interpretation of the biological data. By this we can say the biological or the properties of biological or the biological properties of water. Okay, so the work involving plankton analysis would be help. What if we analyze the plankton, then what is the need, or what the importance is? So it explains the causes of color and durability, and the presence of the objectional odor, taste and visible particles in water. After assessing these parameters, we can say that. Okay, then the interpretation of chemical analysis, the identifying the nature, then the extent of biological effects of pollution, then providing data on the status of an aquatic system on a regular basis. Okay, so this should be analyzed, and it is very important as far as when if we giving data to an agency, or for the we can say the good quality or environment of the pond. So we have to analyze these parameters, and after analyzing these parameters, when the result is there, so we can say that this because of this parameter, this water body is rich or we can say it is one, we can say the fertility is not there. Okay, so here the plankton, the main biological property is the plankton. So what is plankton? It is a microscopic community of plants, that is called phytoplankton, and animals, that is called zooplankton. So see, this is nothing but a microscopic community in the form of phytoplankton, in the form of zooplankton. It is usually found free floating, swimming with little or no resistance to water currents, then suspended in water, non-motile or insufficiently motile to overcome transport by currents. That's all called plankton. That's why they are called planktons. And the phytoplanktons, that is called the microscopic algae. It usually occurs as a unicellular, single. That is called unicellular, means single cell. Then the colonial or filamentous forms, and is mostly photosynthetic and is grazed upon by the zooplankton and other organisms occurring in the same environment. So see here, the phytoplankton, they are the photosynthetic, means they produce their own food, they have the chlorophyll pigment. Okay, and it is important because it is grazed upon by the zooplankton and other organisms. And the zooplankton, it is principally comprises of microscopic protozoans, rotifers, pterocerans, copepods, etc. And the species assemblage of zooplankton may also be useful in assessing water quality. So we can see the plankton, the structure of photosynthetic population in the aquatic ecosystem is dynamic and constantly changing in species composition and biomass distribution. And understanding the community structure is dependent on the ability to understand the temporal distribution of the different species. So changes in species composition and biomass may affect photosynthetic rates, assimilation efficiencies, rates of nutrient utilization, grazing, etc. Then plankton, particularly phytoplankton, has long been used as an indicator of water quality. Again, by using this phytoplankton, we can say this water quality or the quality of water is good or bad. And because of their short lifespans, planktons respond quickly to the environmental changes. If the ecosystem, pond ecosystem or the aquatic ecosystem have some changes, then these plankton, they respond quickly to the environmental changes. So it is very important. We can see that it is a very good indicator of the water quality. And they flourish both in highly eutrophic waters, while a few others are very sensitive to organic and inorganic or chemical waste. Some species have also been associated with noxious blooms causing toxic conditions apart from the tests and other problems. Okay, so this is the and by associating the presence of phytoplankton, zooplankton or other you can say the biological properties. So again we have a very good method of by light and dark bottle method. By using these method, we can easily assess the productivity of the pond. Okay, it is nothing but the plankton present in the water. So with this, these are the, we have just discussed the physical, chemical and biological properties of water. Okay, these properties we have just discussed. They are all important one. Before and after, when we stock any fish or any when we think about any animal to be cultured, for example fish or crab or shrimp or prawn, at that time we have to analyze the water before the stock and after the stock also. It means if we analyze the water before the stock of the fish or before the stock of any animal we have cultured, so before we have analyzed that, we know after result we know that some content is not there, we have to add them, or there is problem of DO, then we can by using some aerators or other methods we can increase the oxygen. And after stocking, a regular water analysis is also important as far as aquaculture is concerned for the good environment in the any water body. So this is we can say the physico-chemical and biological properties of water. So with this I have stopped here, and in our next lecture In this unit third, we will discuss the larvivorous fishes in India, or the larvivorous fishes. What means the larvivorous fishes we will discuss in a next lecture. Okay, till then, goodbye.